I'm a screenwriter, I'm a director, I'm a producer, and I'm also a gentleman. Also known as Waltbanger. That's my my industry name. In university, I studied straight business because I don't think at that time any parent or any father would hear their child or children doing anything related to entertainment and that kind of stuff. So I did straight business. I think I started to be an accountant basically, and then through I think one of my friends in university who was doing a straight sort of media course, so we got very friendly, and I was helping him with his projects and helping him with his assignments and that kind of stuff. And I ended up helping him write one of his screenplays for an assignment. And he thought, Walter, you're not bad at this, so you should try doing this thing. And that's really how my first taste into it got started. And then from writing that, I started meeting with other directors who, I started working with them. So when I was back in the UK, and then it was when I got fed up with them sort of, going on set and saying, let's change this script, let's change this bit. And I didn't really like the idea of people changing my scripts and that kind of stuff. I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself. There was one time I wrote a script and it was, he had a massive shootout scene. And then halfway through I sat in front of the director, the producers, and I said, Walter, what would be cool for us, if you change the shootout scene to when the lead actor and the lead actress first do the kiss. And I'm like, from one thing from a shootout to a kiss, it didn't work for me and that kind of thing. I got really upset. Finally, when I did change it, it made sense to me, but then I was still doing, strong agili kind of thing. So from there, once I decided I wanted to go into it, I did a couple of sort of international courses. Did the same one that my sort of idol kind of Quentin Tarantino did, the Dov Simmons one. I attended a couple ones at Panaco. So it just gave me a grounding for sort of the talent itself, the art itself. But I really wanted to go more into sort of like movies and documentaries, less than music videos, which is what I'm known for in certain quarters. But it's cool. We're getting back into the sort of the movie realms now. So it's good. And training is very important. I mean, that's even now. I recently went off for another course because I would just feel that there's always something new to learn, especially in this new digital age. Well, Waltbanger is not really a director. He's just someone he's a filmmaker or someone who's in the industry. I've worked on several levels, several big projects, several small projects. The crowning one at the moment, I think, is kind of as a writer, I wrote a film which got picked up by Universal in America, and the movie is scheduled to be released in, I think, over the next couple of months, so to speak. And it's kind of like the major step into Hollywood. It's been picked up by a couple of companies. I mean, the same company that did Dark Knight Rising, with the same company that now took on board. So for me to have for them to be reading scripts from all these other talented people and actually see one of my scripts and say, we want to make that into a film, it's like a big, huge pat on the back. So that really is the highlight so far. But like I say, it's not the be all and end all. For me, it's just a step in the right direction, because really, I kind of really want to now be in the driving seat of actually directing that. Because to be honest with you, they still went through the same thing of, okay, let's cut this, let's change that. Oh, it's too expensive to shoot in a hospital, let's make it a dockside and that kind of stuff. So it was quite difficult to sit back. But I think I'm more experienced and slightly more older and wiser, so I could have sort of sat back and just let them, the people who know why they're doing why they're doing it that way, do their thing. Director-wise, I don't know really what my crowning moment as a director, because I usually treat things as a personal project. It's more to do with the creativity involved in it. That's kind of where I get my joy from projects. So if I see something that it may be the worst looking thing, but for me, I kind of know, we only had 2 days to shoot this thing and there was no script on day one and we ended up doing this thing and it turned out this way. That's, for me, it gives me more joy that someone saying, this is the look, oh, look at the picture quality of this thing, or that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm still making it as a director. I like to tell myself, I don't think until I win an Oscar then I can say, oh, okay, I'm really a director. As a director here in Nigeria, the challenges you face are many, from pre-production to post-production. I mean, the test of a real director is being able to deliver your project or your product on time, satisfactorily. That in itself is a huge challenge, and a lot of kudos goes out to directors here who are doing it. The challenges I see, first of all, is budget-wise. For example, 9 times out of 10, you have budgets that you can't really do much with, but you end up having to make do or make something great out of them. That tends to transfer into the director doing more than the director role. Here in this part, the director is, we tend to look as a director as someone who, you know, will shoot, will edit, will write scripts and that kind of stuff, where technically a director is just someone who sees the vision and makes the vision happen. So a director doesn't necessarily hold the camera. I mean, there are very few directors worldwide who actually stand there and physically shoot what's going on. But here, because of budget size, you find yourself, you're directing that. Because of budget size, you're editing. Because of budget size, you're doing lighting, you're doing makeup, you're doing costume. Well, not makeup, but you're doing more of the arts and direction sort of things, whereby you choose what sort of costumes the people are wearing and that kind of stuff. I mean, abroad or everywhere else, that's kind of, they have departments, they have people who physically do that and have a budget for that. So that's one of the major challenges I see. Second of all, it's finding the crew who tend to organize, understand your vision. A lot of the time I work with a few people, and I work with the same people over and over again, but it's because they understand my style. So you don't have to say A, B, and C all the time. You can just let people get on with doing their own work. Sometimes when you now work with sort of crews that are not yours, especially if you're being, you know, scouted as a director, not as a production company like I have. It's basically just, oh, come and direct help, but then they put you with another crew, and then you find yourself spending more time directing the crew and doing their job than you actually directing the actor or the artist or those sort of things. That's another challenge I find with it. But it's not, I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're there. That's what makes us who we are. That's what kind of why we do those sort of things. It's not, but it's something that we see something on television in America, we see something television from other countries, and because of our natural instinct of wanting to do more, wanting to be better and that kind of stuff, we'll attempt it, and 9 times out of 10 we come very close to, but we now land ourselves into more trouble because now clients will now say, oh, I want you to do this thing, but you're not paying Beyonce money, so how are you going to get Beyonce's type of video? You're not paying Beyonce's, this guy's project, how are you going to get this kind of documentary? And in those situations, they'll hire one man who is the best of the best to do that part of the job, whereas you will do it yourself, or you'll get someone else to do it yourself. So these are the kind of challenges. I think it's the expectation which a lot of directors here always raise and always surpass. But I think that they need to be compensated in a long way. I think a lot needs to be going to sort of like looking after the director. And I also have the challenges, the whole like I like to call it Oyinbo blindness thing as well, whereby if it is an Oyinbo person or someone from abroad saying certain things, people will take it as the message, and they will listen, and they won't too much argue, and they won't challenge budget and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if a Nigerian person says the same thing to the same person, there's this sort of, are you sure? No, you can do it for less than that kind of stuff. So I think the challenge is that our own people don't trust Nigerian directors enough. They don't trust the ability to learn. And you'll be very surprised that those people who they trust, when on set, tend to rely more on the Nigerians than on themselves. And you'll be surprised to know that they kind of go to Nigeria and all these other countries and see, oh, how are we doing these things? I mean, the idea of Nollywood, for example, astounds them, but how they can produce films over and over at such rapid rate. And they want to know how you can produce a film for $10,000, $15,000 or $20,000 or $50,000 where the lowest budget American film will be maybe, you know, $200, $300, $500,000. That's for like a micro independent film. So once they understand how we do it, then they'll be able to die in peace. And likewise for us, it's the reverse. Once we can get to their quality, and I think thanks to all this sort of new digital technology, we're getting there. I think we're making further grounds to reaching the Americans, and they are to reaching out the way we can do. So I think that's one of the other challenges. So I don't think people should pigeonhole themselves. I just think there should be a natural progression. Yeah, at the beginning you should start in some sort of field that you master it. At least you know enough, and you can always use various niches as platforms to go into something bigger and better. But I don't think that you should get stuck into a niche purely from a financial point of view, from a business point of view, because here in Nigeria we have this follow mentality. So whenever anything is profitable, there's going to be 100 people after you come in to try and do the same thing, and trust me, they'll be younger, eager to learn, eager to do it cheaper, and that kind of thing. So it creates a sort of like an imbalance in the market. But once you know that, okay, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to go into this field, I'm going to take as much as I can from this field, then I'm going to expand a little bit and see how I can expand sort of your circle and go into various markets. Then I think it benefits you from a financial point of view, also benefits you from a creative point of view, because then one, you're learning new things, because you're not necessarily stuck in doing the same thing over and over and over again. You know, you kind of learn to adapt to a new environment. I mean, that's kind of the natural progression generally anyway. People tend to go into music videos, or then go into commercial, and then from there they go into major motion picture. There's a hierarchy, and if you cheat yourself by just staying to the niche, then it's good eventually. It's good for a little bit, but if you're really a lover of film and lover of the motion picture or the moving pictures, then you kind of want to try your own self on that top level.